It's your boy Conserviz34, and you're watching This Week in John Mayer. So that last clip was a little snippet of a John Mayer song. If you know this song, put it in the comments. The real true OG John Mayer fans should know what song that is. If you don't know, we'll go do some research and listen to some tracks and figure it out. Put it in the comments. You'll get a gold star and maybe more. Maybe I'll do some more if I find something else that I can give away. So we want to talk more about the music this week. I gave you an introduction to who I am last week, and we kind of skimmed through stuff. But we're going to go and talk about some of the stuff that was debuted and some of the sounds that were heard this past week in John Mayer. Now, I'm recording this on August 3rd, but the August 3rd show in Columbus, we'll talk about that next week, just to give you that idea. This is August 3rd in the morning here in Connecticut. So I'm going to talk about the Columbus show that's going to be later tonight next week. The first thing I wanted to point out, the stage for this week seems to be set on the full experience. Nothing behind stage as far as tickets being sold. These other seats, even the two-night stand in Toronto, you have the full experience. Now, I went to the first two shows, as you may have seen from my reviews a couple weeks ago. First show in Albany had the full stage. Second show in Providence, because of how small that venue is, because there was no Boston show, they opened up the rear stage seating. MSG the following week, night 1 and night 2, rear stage seating, because in NYC, everyone loves John Mayer. Everyone loves concerts in NYC. Big market, one of the biggest markets in the world. So they opened up the rear stage seating to accommodate more of a crowd, which was awesome. So that's not going to be a frequent thing for the rest of the tour, if at any other stops. Maybe LA, I'll look and do some research on that to see what other shows will be rear stage. But the good thing is they are giving you the full stage experience, and you have a lot more enhancements from the bottom part of the stage, colors and design and things like that when John is playing. And that helps with the overall stage production feel of the show. So that is awesome. Now, I want to get into breaking down some shows. We're going to start off with some of the things I observed from Pittsburgh. And I wasn't there, but just listening to different recordings. Shout out to people who recorded. But let's talk about Pittsburgh. So for Pittsburgh, I love the 1-2 punch of the beginning of this set. I Don't Trust Myself with Loving You is a great 2 spot. You get up high energy, helpless at the beginning, and then getting into that funky, bluesy, minor, pentatonic jam that I Don't Trust Myself with Loving You is about. That is a great 1-2 punch. A unique way to start off a show compared to some of the other shows that John has had. Again, that I Don't Trust Myself at the beginning of a show. I remember back in Boston, I got it like song 4. I love having that at the beginning of a 2 or a 3 spot. So that's really cool. We get a Friends, Lovers, or Nothing John Mayer solo. He forgot the words allegedly. If you can find video on that, please let me know in the comments. I tried to do some searching, and I couldn't find that part of it online. I found other different parts of the show, couldn't find that. Same thing later on in this set 1 with Vultures. Allegedly, there's an estimated profit tease before Vultures, and that's dope, because that didn't happen when I heard it in the first weekend of the shows there in Providence. I think it was Albany I heard it. So that's really cool. A Queen of California into Guess I Just Feel Like, which is really cool. Now, Queen of California, for years, the last couple of years, it's been segued into, Fire on the Mountain sometimes, and sometimes it's not. And there's been a little bit of kind of what is he going to play at the end of Queen of California. So we don't get the Fire on the Mountain, but we get it right into Guess I Just Feel Like, which has been ending a lot of the set 1s. And I think some of the set 2s. Really great song to end a set 1 or set 2. Then we're going to get the 3x5. 3x5 is the highlight to me of this show. Heard the recording from one of the people recording the show. Amazing. And one thing I'll say is that I heard this in Toronto as well. A little bit of fan chatter. Guys, shut up at the shows. Public service announcement. Talk to your neighbors before the show. Hey, I'm so-and-so. I'm Controversy 34. Nice to meet you. Hey, can you guys shut up during the acoustic part of the show? Now, a little bit of a scream or a yell or a sing-along, that's different. If you're singing along during the chorus, that's different. But the talking about nothing relating to singing the song, that's got to stop. It's a national epidemic across all concerts. The rest of the show, nothing new really. But 3x5 is the last highlight to me of the show, and the highlight of the show as far as notable new things or things that kind of seem unique. All right, so T.Night Run, go to Canada, and we get some special things. I want to highlight Clarity in a moment, but what we get new, Roll It On Home, couldn't find audio of it, but heard an older version from overseas in the beginning, the first leg of the world tour. Sounded great overseas. I'm sure it sounded great in T-Dot. We have a Split Screen Sadness, first since 2017, and it's acoustic, okay? He's doing a little bit of tapping, doing a little fiddling on that acoustic guitar, and I love this coming back. I love Heavier Things being, pulled up in another debut from it there. So an awesome thing. And let's talk about Clarity, okay? So Clarity debuts in Toronto night one. Dude does an Africa interpolation. Now, I missed this. I was watching some of the overseas videos at the beginning of the year, but I didn't watch Clarity, and I wish I did, because what he does is an Africa interpolation. And it's not mentioned on setlist.fm. Whoever was writing up that setlist did not mention it. The person who recorded it for Toronto, that quality of that video was very low as far as hearing this. So I'm going to pull up the Melbourne show Clarity. I want you to listen to this. Then I'm going to stop it. I'm going to compare it to a taper version of a show I went to back in, I believe it was 2010, just to show you the difference. So let's listen to this part of Clarity. Towards the end, we're going to get that Africa by Toto interpolation. It's lit. I love this. All right, let's listen. So there you go. You got the Africa interpolation. Now, this is how it used to sound. Now, this tour back in 2010, Mayer had some horns in his ensemble. This is how it used to sound. So obviously you can see the difference. And that was a show from Hartford, August 8th, 2010. Another cool feature about that show. One of two Boys of Summers ever played by John Mayer, with Pat Monahan pulling up there with the vocal support. He was with Train. He's with Train still, but he was part of that tour. That's Toronto night one. So Toronto night two, the one thing I want to highlight about this show is Wheel. This is an amazing song with an amazing message from Heavier Things. Again, underrated album, in my opinion. And another tour debut from Heavier Things. So shout out to Mr. Mayer for Encore 1 spot, or the E1 as we call it. We get a Will before New Light. And I heard this from one of the people recording, and it sounds great. It sounds great. He's playing the PRS, and that's okay. It still sounds great. Now, again, I prefer him on the Fender, but sounded great. I love Pino and his bass lines and things like that behind him, and the rest of the ensemble supporting him on this first time since 2017, when again John was searching for everything. You know, he was going far and wide, and that's really the highlight of Toronto night two. Great stuff from other sets that they pick up, Heartbreak Warfare and Emoji of a Wave and things like that. And then we want to talk about Detroit. That was last night. As I'm recording it, it was last night, August 2nd. And we're going to talk about the Grateful Dead cover at the end of this snippet. But you get a couple other things that pull up. I was able to hear Speak For Me. John appears to be on the nylon guitar. there. So it has a nice little unique sound compared to the steel string acoustics. And then he plays a cover of EXO by Beyonce, which John is on. So another tour debut there. Now here is what is amazing. The Friend of a Devil. This is a Grateful Dead cover, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I looked at the 2013 version of this performance, and this version is even slower. And this is how the Grateful Dead used to play this in the late 70s. Some of those versions, you have Mr. Garcia just playing this thing slow, taking his time on the electric guitar. Now, there's other ways to play it. There's an acoustic version that has a little more pop. Some of the stuff Pino's playing, the little bass line, that's being played on an acoustic guitar by Mr. Bob Weir. When Dead and Company does it, or the Grateful Dead have ever done the acoustic version of it. So this is the slow, soulful, take your time with it tempo, Friend of the Devil. And man, this just gave me chills, and I'm listening to it this morning on YouTube. I'm not even there. I can't imagine what people at the show felt for that. I mean, just a great moment. Now, Jerry Garcia, the lead singer of the Grateful Dead, who passed away, you know, in the 90s, mid-90s, he is shown on the screen at the end of this. And his birthday was August 1st. So, you know, people celebrate. The Grateful Dead heads like me, we all know people go to the movies. I did not go this year, but you can go to the movies and they play a different concert every year. So it's a big day in the Grateful Dead community, Jerry's birthday celebration, even though he's passed on. So just a special thing. Now, the other cool thing that John did back in the day, this was at Talking Stick Resort Arena. I think that thing keeps changing names, and it's an old venue there, or it's getting older, in Phoenix, Arizona. So back on August 1st of 2017, on Jerry's birthday exactly, John played it on piano. You can check that out, you know, 8/1/17, and you'll be able to check that version out. And just a really cool thing that he did. That version too just gives me chills. It brings all the emotions of knowing it was Jerry's birthday, and then John whips that song out. So just another great moment in the band's this John Mayer and his touring bands, you know, touring right now, and these guys are on fire. I want to end with a couple of things. We're going to go down to the stats so far. I did this last night, tallied everything up, as Detroit ended up being the last show that I was adding to the stats. So far, 56 unique songs, full songs, completed songs. We have 7 teases, partials, or snippets. A lot of this is like, you know, just the interpolation of a song like the Africa. And I Got Dreams to Remember during Gravity. But 7 of those. Continuum has the most full songs. All of the entire album's been done since MSG Night 2. The Search for Everything is second. And Battle Studies has the least played, only 3 full songs. Again, there's a partial of Friends, Lovers, or Nothing. If you have audio, if you have video, put a link in the comments so everyone can see that, because I haven't found that. I've been searching for everything. I can't find that, but I'm sure it's somewhere. I'm sure people, y'all will find it in the comments. And 7 total covers, not counting Bold as Love. I tally that in my statistics with Continuum because it's technically on that album, even though it's a cover. There, and that's 7 total covers of even if it's a partial or interpolation. There, it's about 6 or 5 if you want to count technically the full covers. But that's all I have for this week in John Mayer. But shout out to everyone in the online community here. So you know, I've been interacting with people. If you guys have a show you've went to, please DM me at ConcertViz34. Please tag me. If you want to give a quick 30-second comment, give me video, email it to me, send it in the DMs, and I'll put it as part of my video next week. Shout out to John Mayer USA, at John Mayer USA, always giving us updates. Shout out to John Mayer Updates, at John Mayer Snaps, that is. Both of these Twitter pages are always giving me updates about the show. The fans are submitting stuff to them, and then it gets put on social media so I can check out and enjoy snippets or full clips. But shout out to those two Twitter handles. And it's your boy, Conserviz34, at Conserviz34. Definitely like, comment, and subscribe. What else do you want from this week in John Mayer? Let me know. Good, bad, love it, hate it. Keep it 100 with me, and I'll respect it. But it's your boy, Conserviz34. Until next week, peace.